66 million years ago, the surface of the Earth turned hostile. It was covered in dark skies, in wild temperature swings, but some mammals survived by heading down, underground. This is the story of how burrowing helped mammals ride out Earth's harshest climates. Let's first answer the question of what is a burrow? It's more than just a hole in the ground. It's a place of stability. Ecologically, it provides refuge from predators, maintains a steady humidity and buffers temperature fluctuations, and it serves as a chamber for nesting and food storage. Physically, it protects them from freezing nights and scorching days, reduces water loss and exposure to extreme weather, and creates a consistent environment that supports torpor, hibernation, and ostivation. Some fossorial adaptations that these mammals have are that they have short, muscular limbs for powerful digging. They have enlarged claws or incisors to break soil and roots. They have a compact fusiform body for turning in tunnels. And they have reduced eyes and reduced external ears to avoid debris and minimize drag. Despite the striking similarities in their digging limbs, body shape, and sensory adaptations, these burrowing species are actually evolutionarily unrelated. Their shared traits aren't from a common ancestor at all, but they're actually the result of convergent evolution. Even though the pangolins, moles, armadillos, and aardvarks come from completely different lineages, each one independently evolved specialized traits that help them survive underground. These groups split from one another tens of millions of years ago, yet natural selection shaped them in remarkable similar ways. In 2025, Steven Pinker and his colleagues combined massive ecological and evolutionary data sets to uncover how burrowing shaped mammal history. Throughout their study, they based their findings off of these three questions about burrowing mammals. First, how did burrowing shape the survival and diversification of mammals across Earth history? Second, where are burrowing mammals most diverse? And third, how large are their geographic ranges? These authors combined ecological, climatic, and evolutionary data across nearly all known mammal species. They first used the International Union for Conservation of Nature database, or the IUCN database, which is an organization that maintains global data on species conservation status and distributions. So they gathered global data from 4,407 land mammals, excluding bats, and with this data they were able to map out each of these species' ranges and identify that around almost 3,100 of the species have burrowing behavior. They then mapped and measured where these burrowing and non-burrowing mammals live. They looked at species richness, they measured range size, and then they compared these patterns to climate variables like annual temperature, annual productivity, and seasonality, which is like big swings between wet and dry seasons or hot and cold seasons. They then examined how burrowing mammals are distributed across the globe. They looked at the percentage of mammals that burrow at different latitudes, such as near the equator, in the mid-latitudes, and towards the poles. Lastly, they used evolutionary trees to test deep time patterns. They used time-calibrated phylogenies, which are evolutionary trees that estimate when each lineage split. With these, they tested whether burrowing lineages had different diversification rates, so how fast new species formed, and different extinction rates compared to non-burrowers. The two major transitions that they focused on was the KPG extinction, when dinosaurs went extinct, and the Eocene time period. Before the KPG extinction, dinosaurs dominated daylight hours, forcing early mammals into nocturnal niches. This nocturnal lifestyle had a major impact on mammalian evolution. Because early mammals were mostly nocturnal, they evolved sensory adaptations that helped them survive in low light conditions. Their hearing and sense of smell became much more advanced, compensating for limited visibility. Their eyes also adapted, where they developed large pupils and a high number of rod cells, which made them far better at detecting movement and shapes in the dark. At the same time, they lost some color vision because cones were less useful at night, trading color detection for greater overall light sensitivity. This nocturnal lifestyle complemented burrowing behavior because they both offered protection from predators in harsh climates. 66 million years ago, an asteroid impacted on Earth, triggering one of the most devastating mass extinctions in history. This impact released enough debris to block the sunlight for months to years. It caused years of darkness in winter-like conditions. It plummeted global temperatures, halted photosynthesis, and collapsed food webs. Burrowers had a better chance at survival due to underground refuge providing thermal stability, protection from falling debris, firestorms, and predation, and they had access to stored food and were able to have access also to dormant energy states, so they were able to go into torpor and hibernation. Between 56 to 34 million years ago, following the KPG event, Earth's climate warmed dramatically during the Eocene epoch. Global temperatures rose, polar regions became subtropical, and ecosystems shifted rapidly. During this time, mammals radiated into new niches, but the frequent climate change swings tended to favor species already adapted to unstable environments. Burrowing mammals, in particular, were able to expand into temperate and arid regions where surface temperatures and rainfall varied widely, giving them an advantage as conditions fluctuated. So, did burrowing shape the survival and diversification of mammals? According to fossil and model evidence, they show burrowing species rebounded faster after the extinction than surface dwellers. Also, according to phylogenetic analysis, reveals that burrowing lineages had lower extinction rates than non-burrowers. There were major diversification peaks in burrowing species following the KPG extinction and during the Eocene. These adaptations helped mammals endure the asteroid impact and its aftermath, for providing them thermal and ecological stability, letting species persist through rapid environmental changes. Next, where are burrowing mammals most diverse? So they are generally most diverse in regions with strong seasonality. The diversity peaks in the mid-latitudes, such as where there are grasslands, deserts, and temperate forests. These are usually the areas with the largest temperature or precipitation swings. So diversity, that's where the most diversity is. In contrast, non-burrowers dominate in the tropics, where climates are mainly at a stable point year-round. Lastly, how large are their geographic ranges? Burrowing mammals generally have a smaller range size, but their ranges are more resilient to environmental change. Their range size actually increases with climate seasonality, whereas non-burrowers tend to have larger ranges, but only in stable climates. This suggests that burrowing is a behavioral adaptation for persistence, not for geographical spread. The results of this study are 41% of all terrestrial mammals are burrowers, excluding bats. Burrowing mammals are more diverse in seasonal climates. Burrowing mammals maintain smaller, less stable ranges than non-burrowing mammals, and burrowing mammals experience lower extinction rates during major climate shifts, like the KPG extinction and the Eocene time period. Some importance that I took away from this study is that it reveals how behavioral flexibility can shape evolutionary outcomes. It demonstrates that simple behaviors can have macroevolutionary consequences, and it focuses on the importance of burrowers. Burrowing mammals are modern ecosystem engineers. They improve soil aeration, water retention, and nutrient cycling. And then a conclusion. When the asteroid struck and the world above ground became uninhabitable, burrowing mammals endured. Their underground shelters became life support systems, buffering them through Earth's darkest winter. This behavior allowed mammals not only to survive, but to thrive and diversify, shaping the ecosystems we see today. And then here are my references. Thank you for watching. Bye!